Our planet is warming. The evidence is undeniable. Global temperatures have risen dramatically since the pre-industrial era. This rise, primarily caused by human activities, is pushing our climate system to its limits. The consequences are already being felt worldwide, from rising sea levels to more frequent and intense extreme weather events. The situation is critical, demanding immediate global action. We must act now to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and avert the worst impacts of climate change. The Arctic and Antarctic regions, once pristine and remote, are now at the forefront of this climate crisis. These icy landscapes are warming at an alarming rate, far exceeding the global average. The consequences of this rapid warming are far-reaching, impacting not only these polar regions, but also the entire planet. The melting of glaciers and ice sheets is contributing to rising sea levels, threatening coastal communities and ecosystems worldwide. The year 2024 was the hottest on record, a stark reminder of the escalating climate crisis. Extreme weather events, such as hurricanes, heat waves, and floods, are becoming more frequent and intense. These events cause widespread damage, disrupt lives, and strain economies. The human toll is immense, with millions affected by displacement, food insecurity, and health risks. The urgency to address climate change has never been greater. The scientific consensus is clear. Human activities are the primary driver of this unprecedented warming. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the leading international body for the assessment of climate change, has repeatedly warned of the severe and irreversible impacts of inaction. The time for complacency is over. We must transition to a low-carbon economy, investing in renewable energy sources and sustainable practices. The Arctic is warming at an alarming rate, more than twice the global average. This rapid warming is causing sea ice to melt at an unprecedented rate. The consequences are dire. The Arctic plays a crucial role in regulating global climate patterns. Its loss of ice cover amplifies warming, leading to a feedback loop that accelerates climate change. This phenomenon, known as Arctic amplification, has profound implications for the entire planet. The melting of Arctic ice is also contributing to rising sea levels. As glaciers and ice sheets melt, they release vast amounts of water into the oceans. This increase in ocean volume, coupled with the thermal expansion of water as it warms, is causing sea levels to rise globally. Coastal communities are particularly vulnerable to these rising seas, facing increased risks of flooding, erosion, and permanent inundation. The impacts of Arctic warming are not limited to the physical environment. Indigenous communities in the Arctic, who have relied on the region's resources for millennia, are facing unprecedented challenges. Their traditional ways of life, intimately connected to the land and ice, are being disrupted by the changing climate. Hunting grounds are becoming inaccessible and food sources are dwindling. The cultural and social fabric of these communities is under threat. The Arctic is a bellwether for the planet, a stark warning of the profound changes underway due to climate change. Its rapid warming and the cascading effects it triggers highlight the urgent need for global action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate the impacts of this crisis. The fate of the Arctic is inextricably linked to the fate of the planet. The chilling realities of climate change were brought to light in the compelling documentaries Glacier Meltdown and Polar Apocalypse, part of the Naked Science series. These episodes offered a glimpse into the dramatic transformations occurring in some of the most vulnerable regions of our planet. The message was clear. Climate change is not a distant threat, it is a present reality with far-reaching consequences. Glacier Meltdown took viewers on a journey to the world's glaciers, revealing the alarming rate at which they are disappearing. The documentary highlighted the crucial role glaciers play in regulating water supplies and supporting ecosystems. The melting of glaciers not only contributes to rising sea levels but also threatens freshwater resources for millions of people worldwide. The images of retreating glaciers and expanding glacial lakes served as a stark reminder of the urgency of the climate crisis. Polar Apocalypse focused on the dramatic changes unfolding in the Arctic and Antarctic. The episode showcased the plight of polar bears struggling to survive in a shrinking ice habitat and the alarming rate of ice sheet disintegration. The documentary also explored the potential for catastrophic methane release from thawing permafrost, a scenario that could significantly accelerate climate change. Naked Science served as a wake-up call, urging viewers to confront the realities of climate change and demand action. These documentaries, though released in 2007, were ahead of their time, sounding the alarm about the climate crisis before it became a mainstream concern. Their message remains relevant today, a stark reminder of the consequences of inaction and the urgent need to address this global challenge. The Himalayas, often referred to as the Third Pole, are home to the largest concentration of glaciers outside the polar regions. These glaciers are a lifeline for billions of people in Asia, providing essential water resources for drinking, irrigation and hydropower. However, the Himalayas are warming at an alarming rate, leading to rapid glacial melt and threatening the delicate balance of this fragile ecosystem. As Himalayan glaciers retreat, they form glacial lakes behind unstable moraine dams. These lakes pose a significant risk of outburst floods, known as glacial lake outburst floods. Glacial lake outburst floods can be catastrophic, unleashing torrents of water and debris that can devastate downstream communities, infrastructure, and livelihoods. The increasing frequency and intensity of glacial lake outburst floods in recent years highlight the growing threat posed by climate change in the Himalayas. The eastern Himalayas, in particular, are experiencing pronounced climate change impacts. This region, known for its rich biodiversity and unique cultural heritage, is highly vulnerable to the effects of glacial melt, altered rainfall patterns, and increased frequency of extreme weather events. The livelihoods of millions of people in the eastern Himalayas are directly dependent on the region's natural resources, which are now under threat from climate change. The situation in the Himalayas underscores the interconnectedness of climate change impacts. What happens in the Himalayas does not stay in the Himalayas. The melting of Himalayan glaciers has implications for water security, food security, and energy security for a vast population downstream. The fate of the Himalayas is a stark reminder that climate change is not just an environmental issue. It is a development issue, a humanitarian issue, and a global issue that demands urgent attention and collective action.